We spend we spend so much time obsessed with how our calendars look, you know?
Oh, totally.
Like we color code our work meetings, we block out an hour for the gym, schedule exactly 30 minutes for a commute. Our physical time is incredibly visible to us.
It's all mapped out.
Exactly. But there is this massive, completely invisible drain on our mental bandwidth that, well, it rarely ever makes it onto a schedule. It's a cognitive time sink that just hijacks our focus.
Yeah.
And according to this recent Empower survey of, I think it was over 2,200 U.S. adults,
Yeah, that's right.
it is consuming just a staggering percentage of our lives.
It really is.
The average American is spending roughly 4 hours every single day just thinking about money.
4 hours, which is, I mean, that is a tremendous amount of cognitive real estate.
It's mind-boggling.
It is. If you're awake for 16 hours a day,
Yeah.
that translates to a full 25% of your conscious existence, just dedicated to financial thoughts. And we are talking about, sitting down with a spreadsheet for 4 hours either.
Right, like an accountant.
Exactly. We are talking about the background processing. It's doing mental math in the grocery store aisle to see if you can, afford the name brand cereal.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Or is lying awake at 2 a.m. wondering if your car is going to pass inspection next week.
Yeah.
It has this fragmented, ongoing internal monologue. It operates like a background app, just draining your yours battery all day long.
It is essentially a part-time job that you never applied for.
That's a great way to put it.
And the only task at this job is to just worry.
Yeah.
So the mission of our deep dive today is to figure out how to claw that time back. We want to look at the findings of this Empower survey, which diagnoses why we are so burdened by this financial anxiety. But more importantly, it actually outlines a 5-step blueprint to ease it. The ultimate goal here is to take that nervous energy and transform it into a set-and-forget ecosystem. But before we get to the fix, there is a detail in this data that I can't get past.
Oh, the generational split.
Yes. The average is 4 hours, but for Gen Z and millennials, it's closer to 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Wait, 5 hours? Why is there such a disproportionately heavier mental load placed on younger generations when it comes to this stuff?
Well, the survey data highlights a very specific universal friction point, but younger adults are, they're experiencing it in a completely different macroeconomic context.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Think about the financial landscape they are trying to navigate compared to, say, 30 years ago.
Right.
We are looking at a generation that's dealing with the normalization of the gig economy.
Unpredictable income streams.
Exactly. Unpredictable income, wildly disparate wage-to-inflation ratios, and just the sheer omnipresence of financial technology.
Oh, right. The tech aspect.
Yeah, they have 24/7 access to banking apps, crypto wallets, and, social media feeds. They're just saturated with influencers.
Ugh, finfluencers. Just constantly showing them everything they don't have.
Exactly. The sheer volume of inputs requiring internal processing is it's simply higher. It literally demands that extra hour just to keep their heads above water.
Man. See, my immediate reaction to hearing that I'm losing 5 hours a day to this is to just force a shutdown.
Right, just turn it off.
Yeah. If thinking about money is causing the stress, the logical solution seems to be avoiding the topic entirely. Out of sight, out of mind,
Which is actually the exact opposite of what the survey recommends.
Really?
Yeah, the source material makes a crucial distinction here. Thinking about money isn't inherently a bad thing.
Okay.
It is a fundamental requirement for building a functioning financial life. The problem isn't the thinking itself.
Then what is it?
It's the nature of the thinking.
Yeah.
It is when that cognitive processing decays into passive anxiety. You're
yeah.
dwelling on the negative, ruminating on the worst case scenarios, but you aren't actually plotting a course out of the danger zone.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because shifting from passive panic to proactive planning, that sounds fantastic in a survey.
Sure does.
But how does that actually manifest in reality? Like, if I'm stressed about inflation shrinking my grocery budget, I don't just wake up one morning feeling suddenly motivated to build a spreadsheet.
Right.
It feels a bit like staring at a leaky pipe versus actually grabbing a wrench.
That's a perfect analogy.
Mhm.
And interestingly, the data suggests that a massive shift is actually underway right now.
Really? People are grabbing the wrench.
They are. Americans are actively transitioning from that passive worry into proactive behavior. And it's largely driven by a breaking point in that macroeconomic pressure we just talked about.
Oh, so it just got too bad to ignore.
Exactly. The financial ambiguity has become too painful. When inflation hits everyday items, you can no longer afford to just guess if you have enough in checking to cover it.
Yeah, you can't just swipe and pray anymore.
Right. The pain of the unknown has finally outweighed the pain of confronting the math. So people are seeking out tools, they're looking for advice, and attempting to channel that nervous energy into actual progress.
Okay, well, let's talk about the pain of confronting the math, because that is where the source material actually starts its blueprint.
Step one.
Step one, it suggests outlining your goals and making a budget. Now, we all know what a budget is in theory, right? Income minus expenses.
Right.
But I want to push back on the psychology of this a little bit. For a lot of people, putting the numbers on paper is the actual source of the terror.
Absolutely.
If you are living paycheck to paycheck, writing down exactly how little money you have doesn't magically fix the plumbing.
No, it doesn't.
It feels like pulling the monster out from under the bed only to realize the monster is now just sitting on your chest.
That is quite the visual.
I mean, you know what I mean? How does looking at a terrifying reality ease your mind?
Well, this is where we have to look at the psychological concept of financial ambiguity.
Yeah.
The human brain is notoriously terrible at handling uncertainty. In many ways, our nervous system perceives an unknown threat as far more dangerous than a known threat.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. When you avoid looking at your bank account, your brain assumes the absolute worst just to protect you. The anxiety lives in that shadowy space of not knowing.
Right.
By doing the math, even if the math reveals a deficit, you replace an infinite vague terror with a finite specific problem.
Ah, a specific problem can be solved.
Exactly. A vague terror just paralyzes you.
So it's about diagnosing the disease so you can finally write a prescription rather than just lying in bed worrying about your symptoms.
Exactly that. And the survey frames the budget not as a restriction, but as a diagnostic checklist.
Okay, so walk me through it.
First, you calculate your monthly income, but they make a very specific distinction about what counts as income here.
What do you mean?
You tally your salary and your side gigs, sure, but you also include active investments.
Okay, let's pause on active investments because that term can get really muddy for people.
I can't.
The survey specifically notes you should only include active investments that are not already used for retirement or other long-term savings, right?
Yes, that is a vital boundary to set. We are talking about liquid cash flow assets that you can access right now without penalty.
So definitely not my 401k.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
This might be a standard brokerage account where you take out dividends, or maybe a side business generating usable cash.
Right.
If you start double counting the money trapped in your retirement accounts as usable income for your monthly budget,
Oh, man.
you are creating a false roadmap that will lead you straight off a cliff.
Which defeats the whole purpose of removing the ambiguity.
Exactly.
Okay, so we tally the genuinely usable income, then we outline the expenses.
Right.
The survey divides this into living expenses, rent, mortgage, utilities, groceries, and recurring expenses like insurance premiums and healthcare. We do the subtraction, and that leaves us with our savings room.
Assuming there is some.
Right, assuming someone does this math and they find they actually do have some room in the margins. Where does this money go to actually buy back those 4 hours of daily worry?
Well, the blueprint directs that newly discovered margin toward two specific areas that generate the highest volume of cognitive stress.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is building an emergency fund.
Ah,
And the survey stresses that this fund needs to be easily accessible. Again, going back to liquidity.
right. You don't want it locked away.
Exactly. You don't want your emergency money locked up in a certificate of deposit or a volatile stock. It needs to be a cash cushion designed solely to absorb unforeseen financial shocks.
Like a medical emergency or a sudden job loss.
Exactly.
The recommendation here is to build a cushion that covers at least 6 months of living expenses.
Yep.
And I just have to say, 6 months is a massive number, especially in today's economy.
It is a very daunting target.
But if we think about the mechanics of stress, an emergency fund isn't really just a pile of money. It purchased optionality. Oh, I like that. Purchased optionality.
Right. It is the knowledge that if you lose your job on a Tuesday, you don't have to panic on Wednesday.
Exactly.
You have half a year to figure it out. That alone probably buys back 2 of those 4 hours of daily worry.
It fundamentally changes your posture toward the world.
Yeah.
Without that cushion, every single unexpected event is a crisis. A blown tire isn't just an inconvenience, it's a catastrophe.
Right. Because you have to put it on a credit card.
Exactly. Which forces you into the second area the survey identifies as a massive stressor. unmanageable debt.
Which really is the twin pillar of this whole strategy.
Yep.
If the emergency fund is the shield, paying down debt is like pulling the arrows out of your chest.
That is a very visceral way to put it, but yes.
Well, the survey cites debt as one of the primary reasons people spend so much time stressing over money.
And we need to look at how debt operates on a psychological level, not just a mathematical one.
Okay, explain that. Unmanageable debt creates a sort of tunnel vision effect. When you are burdened by high-interest consumer debt, your cognitive bandwidth is constantly dragged back to the past.
Because you're paying for things you already bought.
Exactly. You're paying for things you've already consumed, while the interest compounds and makes the original purchase infinitely more expensive.
It's awful. You are bleeding money just for the privilege of owing money.
Right. And the survey emphasizes that prioritizing debt repayment achieves two things simultaneously.
Okay.
The mathematical benefit is obvious. Right? You avoid racking up further interest charges, meaning you retain more of your future income.
Sure.
But the psychological benefit is just as crucial. Taking aggressive action against debt provides a psychological win. It restores a sense of agency that financial anxiety just steals from you.
Right, you're back in the driver's seat.
Exactly.
So it's a compounding effect, but in a positive direction this time.
Yes.
You build the 6-month cushion so you stop relying on credit cards for emergencies, which stops the bleeding. Then you attack the existing debt, which frees up future income, which makes building the cushion even easier.
It's a feedback loop.
Yeah. And once you have this ecosystem running, the budget is clear, the shield is up, the debt is shrinking, we finally arrive at the final stage of the Empower Blueprint.
The best part.
Yeah. If the original problem was spending too much time thinking about money, this final step is the ultimate brain hack.
Automation.
Yep.
Taking a set and forget it approach.
I love this part. It's like freeing up cognitive RAM on your computer.
Yes, exactly.
When you have 20 browser tabs of financial worry, like remembering to pay the electric bill on the 14th, transferring money to savings on the 1st, checking to see if the rent check cleared,
Exhausting.
your brain runs incredibly slow.
Right.
Automating your bill payments and your savings contributions is like closing 15 of those tabs at once. You are removing human intervention from the equation.
You let the system execute the plan that you built.
Yeah.
But there is an incredibly dangerous trap here if you try to take a shortcut.
Oh, right.
The survey includes a vital caveat regarding automation. You must ensure there is enough money in the account when these auto transactions are scheduled.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Automation is a superpower, but it is completely blind.
Absolutely blind.
If you try to jump straight to the set and forget it stage without actually doing the painful math of step 1, identifying your true income and expenses, you are flying blind at high speed.
You really are.
If the system automatically pulls your rent and your credit card payment on the same day, and you haven't diagnosed your savings room, you didn't just automate your finances, you just automated an overdraft cascade.
Which introduces infinitely more stress, late fees, and penalties.
Oh man, it's the worst.
It really is. The ecosystem only works sequentially.
Right.
The automation relies entirely on the structural integrity of the budget you built. You have to do the hard, manual work of confronting the ambiguity up front so that the automated system has a safe paved road to drive on.
Yeah, you have to lay the tracks before you run the train.
Exactly. And since we are talking about executing financial strategies and using these tools, we should probably mention.
Oh, yes, the disclaimer.
Right. It is crucial to note that the information we are discussing from this survey is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial advice. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal, and everyone in your financial landscape is unique. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor before making major structural decisions with your money.
Definitely. The tools exist, but the application requires careful, individualized planning.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's zoom out and look at the whole picture here.
Let's do it.
We started this deep dive looking at a genuine cognitive crisis. A quarter of our waking lives lost to the mental churn of financial worry.
Yep.
Almost 5 hours a day for younger generations trying to navigate a pretty brutal economic landscape.
It really is. And we explored how to confront the financial ambiguity rather than hide from it.
Right.
Using a budget not as a punishment, but as a diagnostic tool to find out exactly what we're working with.
We looked at the mechanics of the emergency fund, buying that 6-month window of optionality,
Hmm.
and how aggressively paying down debt doesn't just save interest, but actually restores a psychological sense of control.
Yeah.
And finally, we talked about locking all of that progress in by setting our cognitive RAM on autopilot, provided we've done the math to support it.
It is a phenomenal roadmap for changing your relationship with your finances.
It really is.
But the most fascinating part of all of this, at least to me, isn't the money itself.
Oh, what is it?
It brings up a much bigger question.
Okay.
If you actually put this blueprint into practice, like if you endure the discomfort of the budget, build the systems, and successfully automate your financial life, you are suddenly going to find yourself with a surplus.
A surplus of cash.
Well, hopefully. But not just a surplus of money, a surplus of time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If following these steps allows you to successfully automate your financial life and reclaim those 4 to 5 hours of mental bandwidth every single day, what are you going to do with that newly recovered quarter of your waking life?
Man. Now, that is a problem I think every single one of us would love to have.